Going Local, Helena, Norberg, Hodge. My dear students, in this video I would like to discuss the chapter Going Local. This is an essay written by Helena Norberg, Hodge. She is an analyst of the impact of the global economy on cultures and agriculture worldwide, and a pioneer of the localization movement. She is the founder and director of the International Society for Ecology and Culture, ISEC. She has written a number of works. Her book, Ancient Futures, has been translated into 42 languages. And this has been described as an inspirational classic by the London Times. And she has also co-authored a number of other works as well. A book titled Bringing the Food Economy Home and From the Ground Up, Rethinking Industrial Agriculture. These are two books that she co-authored, and also she is a recipient of Right Livelihood Award in 1986 for her works in Ladakh. As a recognition for her work in Ladakh, this prize is often considered as an alternative Nobel Prize. So we are going to discuss an essay written by an eminent writer who works in the field of who studies about the impact of global economy on different cultures and agriculture. So in this essay, she addresses the issue of globalization on rural economy and how we can tackle this problem. That is what she addresses, and we find that she speaks at length in detail about localization as an idea to or a solution to deal with this problem. So we will discuss in detail. We will talk about some important points from different paragraphs. So now take a look at the first paragraph. In the first paragraph, we find that she talks about the problems that we find globally. She begins the essay by talking about the problems that we face globally. Issues like global warming, toxic pollution, species extinction, fundamentalism, terrorism, and fear. All these are some of the issues or problems that we face globally. When we analyze these problems, often we find that the global media talk about this issue and they say that we human beings are responsible for this. And they say that human beings' greed is the cause of all these problems, and we as individuals should work. That means we as an individual should change our consumer habits. That's what they say, the media say about the way we can tackle these problems. So she addresses in the beginning itself some of the major challenges that we face globally. So she says that to address this individually will not help. Look at this. She says that if we try to deal with this crisis individually, we won't get very far. So she says that individual efforts won't help in dealing with these major issues. But what else can we do? That's what we need to address. We need to ask. First of all, she says that we have to understand this in a broader perspective. Instead of looking at the issues from an individual perspective and tries to deal with it individually, we have to look back, or in a sense, she says that we have to stand back. We need to stand back and look at the bigger picture. So what happens on a global level? Then we can understand that the driving force behind our crisis is a corporate-led globalization. So the many of the problems that we face globally, if we look at it deeper and we analyze, we can find that one of the driving forces behind all these problems is corporate-led globalization. So we have to understand this disease. That's what she says. We have to look at this reason very clearly and to find solutions. And that's what she's going to explain in the next few paragraphs. So she says that one of the major causes of the problems that we face globally, she locates is it on corporate-led globalization. So the solution that she suggests is to join hands with others. It's a key in revising the environmental and social breakdown that we face as a result of corporate-led globalization. So my dear students, in the beginning, in the first paragraph, she talks about some of the major challenges that we face. She speaks about what we call global warming, toxic pollution, species extinction, fundamentalism, terrorism, and fear. And she suggests that to overcome all these problems, we don't have to address this individually. The global media often say that human beings greed and we should change our consumer habit individually. That is what the media often tells. But instead, what we have to do is we have to understand this issue from a broader perspective. When we do that, we can find that one of the major causes of the problems that we face is related to the corporate-led globalization. So how to deal with this, how to tackle this, how to overcome the environmental and social breakdown that is caused by this corporate-led globalization. The key is to join hands with others. So that is what she's going to talk about. In the next paragraph, she analyzes or she comes up with the best solution. She says that the most powerful solution involved a fundamental change in direction. What is that? Towards localizing rather than globalizing economic activity. So the best solution that we can offer to tackle the issues created by corporate-led globalization is to localize rather than globalizing economic activity. So my dear students, we need to understand what exactly we mean by localization. So localization is essentially, she says, is essentially a process of decentralization. Localization is essentially a process of decentralization. That means shifting economic activity back into the hands of local business instead of concentrating it in fewer and fewer mega corporations. Today, when you look at the economic activities happening around the globe, we find that it is often controlled by mega corporates. Economic activity is going in the hands of fewer and fewer mega corporates. So what can we do to reduce the damage that they cause? We have to localize our economy. What do you mean by that? We have to decentralize economic activities. That means we have to shift our economic activity back into the hands of the local businessmen. So that is the best solution that she offers. So my dear student, she suggests the best solution for this problem. What is that? Localization. So what is localization? Localization is essentially a process of decentralization. That means shifting economic activity back into the hands of local businesses instead of concentrating it in fewer and fewer mega corporates. Take a look at the comprehension questions. Question number 1. Who, according to the author, is the cause of the planet's woes? Why? Answer. The author seems to argue that the greed of human beings is the root cause of the planet's woes, because disasters like global warming, toxic pollution, and species extinction are the direct results of human activity. Question number 2. What is the driving force behind the world crisis and what is the solution? Answer. Globalization is the driving force behind the world crisis and it can be solved by going local. Question number 3. Define localization. Localization is a form of decentralization where the economic activity is shifted back into the hands of local businesses instead of concentrating on mega corporates.